All right, so good evening to everyone who has joined us for tonight, especially to the Form 4 and Form 5s of MRSM Typing. Okay, so for tonight, our topic would be under the series of Success Recipe Talk series. So the title for tonight is Resume Do's and Don'ts from a Professional Perspective. So our professional for tonight will be Rosmawati binti Abdul Rahman from batch SPM 1995, who is also the SPKG Marismat 2020 and for this year as well lead. And she's also the Setiausaha for Ansara Tipin and currently a senior reservoir engineer who with a very known company. And she has also obtained British Council Chevening Scholar, which is a very famous scholarship from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, or FCO, in the UK. So without further ado, I invite Kak Ros, or people call her Atom, to the stage.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, thank you to my moderator Iman for a nice introduction, and also thank you to my the fellow students. Sorry, thank you for the students kerana sudi juga untuk apa tu meluangkan masa Selasa malam 9 malam lepas makan. Saya harap semua sudah makan. Untuk sama-sama kita mendengar talk hari ini bertajuk Resume Do and Don'ts from a Professional Perspective. Jadi mula-mulanya saya nak mungkin buat pengenalan sikit pada diri saya.
Kejap, sorry Kak Atam ada buka video ke? Sebab saya tak nampak.
Sudah.
Hitam sekarang. Iman, dia nampak ke muka Kak Atom?
Tak. Tadi when Kak Atom buka pun, now Kak Atom buka, right? It's like black, pitch black. And ada a bit of blue.
Oh, okay.
Kamera akak covered ke?
Oh, okay, hang on, sorry. Alright, okay.
Yep.
Alright, okay. Now we can see you. Okay, please continue.
Okay, alright. You can see me? I
Yep.
cannot see myself.
Can.
Okay, alright. Sorry about that. So, baik semula, kita mulakan semula. Assalamualaikum kepada semua anak-anak, adik-adik di pelajar-pelajar MRSM Typing. Sebagai pengenalan ringkas saya, nama saya Rosmawati Abdul Rahman. Saya adalah pelajar MRSM Typing daripada batch 1995 dalam 26 tahun yang lalu. Saya juga merupakan pengarah SPKG pada tahun 2020, tahun lepas, dan juga akan menjadi pengarah SPKG pada tahun ini juga. InsyaAllah pada bulan Oktober nanti kita akan ada lagi satu program SPKG. Jadi terima kasih kepada pelajar-pelajar yang sudi meluangkan masa dengan saya pada malam ini. Okey, jadi sebelum itu ada sedikit disclaimer. Jadi saya ni bukanlah HR professional. No, I am a teacher. Saya bukanlah cikgu yang akan mark CV adik-adik semua. Jadi betul-betul format yang untuk mendapatkan markah-markah untuk adik-adik semua boleh refer pada cikgu. Tapi saya ingin menunjukkan apakah daripada segi pengalaman saya sebagai profesional, sebab saya ada experience hiring engineers, hiring interns dan juga tengok bermacam-macam CV. Okay? Jadi kalau okay, saya nak ada satu request permintaan daripada semua. Tujuan saya malam ni ialah a bit of sharing so that we can do a bit of sharing secara informal. Okay, jadi sesi malam ni saya cadangkan adalah secara santai. Jadi kalau boleh jangan segan-segan silu. Kalau ada soalan tanya, boleh unmute. Ada orang tak suka di kacau bila bagi speech. Pada saya lagi suka. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan, please unmute your mic and then betulkan saya ataupun cakap okay, saya ada soalan dan sebagainya. Okay, and then yang keduanya, poin kedua saya, request saya kedua ialah saya dapat tahu daripada Cikgu Aisyah bahawa ada di antara pelajar-pelajar yang menghadapi stres dalam menghadapi pembelajaran secara online dalam suasana pandemik ini. Jadi secara jujurnya saya sendiri boleh katakan pada mula-mula pandemik tu memang agak seronok ya. Jadi anak saya semua di rumah, tak payah ke sekolah. Saya pun tak payah pergi kerja, beratur, naik LRT dan sebagainya. Bangun tidur je boleh turn on komputer, dah ada di virtual office. Balik pun tak payah bersesak-sesak, sekejap saja dah di rumah. Boleh pergi ke dapur. Tapi lama-lama dah lebih daripada setahun pun stres juga kan. Jadi apatah lagi adik-adik yang bersemangat nak SPM tahun ni tapi tak tahu bila exam. Mungkin exam March 2021, mungkin lebih-lebih lagi. Okay, mungkin delay lagi, kita tak tahu. Dan sebagai seorang ibu, jadi saya ada anak pertama saya umurnya dah 16 tahun. Jadi saya tahu macam mana perangai dan juga perasaan seorang remaja. Jadi kalau saya nak share sikit masalahnya, memang tiap-tiap hari adalah masalahnya, adalah barang yang pecah kerana mengamuk dan juga sebagainya. Jadi saya nak beritahu bahawa kalau adik-adik ada masalah, we understand, okay? We as a generation yang lebih tua, kita faham. Apa-apa masalah boleh tujukan pada cikgu ataupun kami sebagai alumni boleh membantu adik-adik. Okay, kalau kita nak discuss waktu ni pun okey juga. Tak ada masalah, okay? Dan yang ketiga, poin ketiga paling penting sekali, saya tak gemar bercakap sorang-sorang. Especially sekarang saya tengok number of participant dah makin ramai tapi saya tengok tak ada yang on camera dan semuanya senyap. Jadi boleh tak adik-adik semua prove that you exist. Betul ke ada manusia dekat belakang tu ataupun robot? Sometimes macam anak saya, dia join the class, lepas tu dia turun bawah, main game, makan kan. Jadi boleh tak onkan video sekejap? Dalam 1 saat, 2 saat, nanti saya kena tengok. Okey. Ataupun kalau tak mau turn on video, tak pakai tudung dan sebagainya, reaction, ada tu. Reaction comel-comel semuanya. Bagi reaction ke, ataupun boleh unmute video, cakap hello.
Hello.
Okey, hello.
Hai.
Hai. Ramai ni.
Sambil makan sambil tu tengoklah ceramah.
Ya. Tapi pukul 9 dah lambat sangat ni nak makan ni.
Makan malam.
Makan malam. Okey. Jadi ada yang cakap kita makan ni tak boleh lewat sangat. Tapi jangan tak makan. Kena makan. Okey, reaction. Still waiting for reaction. Semua malu-malu. Okey, tak apa. Okey, jadi pesanan saya, kalau ada apa-apa soalan, unmute yourself, boleh tanya saya, okey? Okey, terima kasih. Alright, jadi saya nak mula share screen. Share screen, okay, allow me to share my screen. Okay, boleh nampak ya semua?
Boleh.
Okey. Okey, saya mulakan slideshow saya. Jadi bila saya buat slide ni hari ni, pagi tadi, saya terfikir macam mana cara nak memperkenalkan diri saya dengan mudah. Jadi I found something called a word cloud. Okay, I'm an 42 years old. I'm a dinosaur. So benda-benda semua macam social media ni memang saya tak reti. Jadi word cloud ni something yang maybe adik-adik semua dah tahu, word cloud. Tapi pada saya something new. Okay, so saya tengok, awesome juga word cloud ni. So while doing this word cloud free online, saya fikir, what is the word that describe myself? So a few words that comes to my mind. Saya seorang engineer, saya seorang ibu, 4 orang anak, saya bekerja oil and gas. Saya juga bekerja sebagai SPKG director here. Saya punya masters, saya kecil-kecil cili padi. Saya pun suka buat kek, home baker. I'm kind-hearted, generous, although tak banyak duit. I'm a Mara Scholars. I'm passionate about change, things like this, right? Dan satu kelebihan word cloud ni, kalau cara kita nak buat word cloud is kita ada all these word and then kita prioritize according to apa yang kita rasakan special. Kalau lagi kita priority, words tu lagi besar. Okay, so it's a good way to analyze yourself. Okay, you analyze yourself and then you can see, you can prioritize your role. What is your role that you think is important? For me, my role that I feel like I'm an engineer first. And then later on, I'm a mother. Number 2, I'm a mother. Okay, so saya cadangkan it's a good exercise. So saya pun fikir macam, oh my God, this is a good exercise because kita nak tahu pasal diri saya sendiri. Jadi saya cadangkan kalau ada tak sesiapa pernah buat word cloud ni. Kalau ada sesiapa pernah buat word cloud, kalau tak pernah buat word cloud, I suggest you can try it yourself. Go online, see how you can generate your own word cloud. Because it's a good way to analyze yourself. And then how to look at yourself. Okay, lagi satu nasihat saya, only do this when you're feeling good about yourself. Okay, so it's a good practice for you to try out. And then kalau ada sini your own word cloud, maybe you can print and then look at it when you're feeling down. Okay, ada seseorang senior saya beritahu saya that dalam setiap manusia ni, in everybody, there's a bit of insanity in everybody. Not semua orang, not everyone is 100% sane. Maksudnya, everyone has a certain degree of insanity depending on, severity. So maksudnya bukanlah kita nak cakap semua orang ni bipolar, tapi kita ada certain degree yang mana ada hari kita rasa gembira, ada hari kita rasa sedih. Sama juga macam saya. Hari ni saya rasa gembira, jadi all my word cloud is good words. Okay, pada hari yang rasa sedih, mungkin saya rasa macam aku ni kecil, dah lah pendek, tua pula tu, macam-macam lah kan. So jadi do this when you feeling good about yourself. Sama juga macam CV. When you doing CV, you prepare your CV when you're feeling good about yourself. Okay, we are like an iceberg. People only see our appearance. Kalau awak nampak saya, awak tengok, memang kecilnya. Memang betul saya kecil, saya 4 feet 9. Saya nampak muda. Jadi di mana-mana saja saya kerja. Okay, it could be a negative thing. Di mana-mana saya kerja, orang akan tunjuk saya, terkejut tengok baru grad ke? Dia cakap baru grad ke? Betul ke buat benda-benda macam ni? Betul ke awak ada kebolehan? It can be a negative thing too, right? But that's why you gotta have your CV. It's a written account. Also, the resume is like a tool to show but what cannot be seen physically from outside. Okay, jadi kalau kita tengok iceberg ni pun, yang kita nampak atas sikit je. Yang kita tak nampak lagi besar dekat bawah tu, di bawah laut. Jadi yang ni it's hidden under the sea. Okay, so what you have to highlight yourself, what is good about yourself. It's a good way you analyze yourself and you highlight what is good about yourself, what's underneath the sea, what's underneath iceberg. Macam saya, mungkin saya kecil, tapi mungkin saya suara kuat. Mungkin saya kecil dan nampak macam budak-budak, tapi bila diberi satu tugasan, saya akan kejar tugasan itu sampai habis. Okay, itu orang tak tahu. Kalau tengok saya memang tak nampak. Tapi that's why I have to put it in writing. Kalau saya nak dapat kerja yang baik-baik, kalau saya nak diambil bekerja, right? Nak menang scholarship for example, saya kena tunjukkan tu in writing. Okay, resume will put you through the door, a good resume. Okay, and you have to believe it because each and every one of us, we are a winner even before we are born. What it means is setiap manusia ini tercipta daripada one egg and one sperm, okay? Dan one sperm is a winner from it is one sperm out of 7 million or 8 million sperm that comes out, dan dia akan berlomba-lomba, bekerja-kerja, and then ada yang menang, ada yang kalah, ada yang tersangkut. Mungkin yang tersangkut dan lemah tu ialah sperm yang tak handsome atau sperm yang tak cantik. Tapi the one yang paling best sekali, paling lucky sekali, ialah kamu. It's you that is born, finally born. Dan even after pembentukan telur, tak semestinya kamu akan lahir. Ada lagi tes gestation period selama 9 bulan di di ovary yang tak semestinya, very very good, sometimes ada pendarahan dan sebagainya. Jadi it's lucky that you were born and you are special. Okay, alright, so any question? Ada question? Okay, so next, so you have to know yourself, what makes you special. Okay, so are you special? Tak ada siapa cakap dia special. Okay, cuba cakap sikit lah.
Special. Saya special.
Hey, alright, betul. Okay, that's what I want to hear, right? Okay, saya nak share sikit. Okay, so lesson learn. Dulu saya diminta oleh syarikat saya supaya memilih intern. Intern ni macam student yang masih belajar, dan dia ada macam attachment dengan company saya selama 3 bulan hingga 6 bulan, bergantung kepada cuti dia ataupun dia punya internship duration. Okay, lepas tu universiti tu bagi saya thumb drive. Ini thumb drive-nya untuk intern. Saya pun tanya HR saya, okay, berapa internship kita ada? 1 je dia kata. Saya pun pelik lah. 1 je, intern ni gajinya bukan gaji betul, gajinya RM1,000 sahaja setiap bulan. Dan saya cakap, okay, this company makes 27 billion a year throughout the whole world. Okay, kenapa kita tak ambil 3, 4, 10 intern pun boleh? Tapi tak tahulah kan, company, HR, it's not about hiring, it's not about just the salary, but insurance, costing dan macam-macam lagi lah, paperwork. Jadi dia hanya boleh bagi 1 internship saja. Tapi you tengok, kalau adik-adik semua tengok, yang ini folder daripada aerospace engineering sampai telecommunication engineering, dan yang saya tunjukkan ni ialah all the CV from only one of the folder, chemical engineering. Jadi rasa-rasanya berapa lama yang saya perlu nak buka tengok satu-satu, all these are CV. Right? Ini baru 1 folder, belum lagi folder-folder yang lain. Dan ini juga hanya satu saja internship position. Jadi lesson learn here yang saya boleh sharekan di sini, sekarang dalam masa dunia sekarang, there's too many applicants, too little position. Unfortunate, that's the way it is. And then jadi kalau adik-adik semua pun nanti nak apply for scholarship, insya-Allah dapat. Tapi kalau tak dapat, jangan berputus asa. Bukan saja kena bagus, tapi kena laki juga. Okay, macam saya melihat CV ni, jadi saya tak pilih Hamin hal 5 tu Najwa, saya malas nak buka. Saya tengok dah sampai sini lah malas dah. And then random pilih, mungkin saya pilih 3 saja macam ni. Jadi mungkin orang yang melihat CV adik ni tak melihat semua CV kan. Jadi kalau tak berjaya dalam sesuatu tu, jangan putus asa, tengoklah, this is the reality, okay? But what we can do is we can do our best so that setiap CV tu kalau orang tu hanya masa 20 saat saja tengok, insya-Allah kalau kita, if we know the format, we stand a chance. Okay? So all I want to cover. Okay, so understand the market is a tough world. Okay, so CV is a document to summarize your life. Okay, kadang-kadang di masa sekarang you have to custom-made your resume. Macam saya juga, kalau saya nak dapatkan business position, okay, my resume kena wording macam bit more business. Okay, kalau saya nak more technical engineer, saya punya CV saya akan tukar-tukar sikit supaya ada some engineering keywords. Okay, so you know your audience, who will see your CV. Adakah HR akan tengok ataupun adakah technical person akan tengok. CV is a chance for you to show off, but not too much. Jangan menunjuk sangat, because kalau you menunjuk sangat nanti people, tak suka pula. But it's a balance between those two. Jangan pula shy sangat. Dan di CV, dalam CV tu don't ever lie about your accomplishment. Seperti contohnya kalau kita graduate from university in London, for example, London ada banyak universiti, ada Imperial College, University College London, ada juga yang Middlesex. Jangan kita cakap saya pergi ke universiti yang terbaik walaupun sebenarnya kita pergi universiti yang biasa-biasa. Don't lie about that. You can highlight actually apa yang sama ada you rasa you mediocre ataupun you terror sangat ke, but you all have equal chance to highlight. For example, saya ada melihat CV orang yang 4 flat. Tapi recruitment manager dekat company saya cakap don't take people who are 4 flat. Kenapa? Sebab hari tu kita ada ambil orang 4 flat. Betul, weird sangat dia. Dia macam tak boleh cakap dengan orang. Oh, okay. So, but this guy 4 flat, bagus, saya nampak dia. Oh, no, don't want. So, that's what I said, right? It's luck. Sama ada you 4 flat ataupun you bukan 4 flat, 3.3, tapi you be able to highlight what you have to offer, you stand a chance. Okay? Creative wording. Apa saya masukkan creative wording ni? Kita kena, bila kita tulis ke CV kita, it has to be sophisticated. Maksudnya guna word yang macam bukannya darjah 1 punya word, but sesuai dengan kita punya level. Guna, you want to highlight things like, okay, katalah your team is doing something great. You cannot say, saya hanya duduk tengok saja. Tak boleh. You can say that I'm part of the team or assist. So these are all creative wording. Nanti kita boleh tengok example dalam beberapa CV. Okay. Lagi satu saya nak cakap entrepreneurs, because ada juga kawan-kawan saya dan juga senior-senior saya yang jadi entrepreneur sekarang. Jangan terkejut, entrepreneurs ni dia orang tak ada CV, okay? Dia don't bother your resume sebab dia orang bukan nak cari kerja. Dan entrepreneurs yang berjaya lagi kaya daripada lagi well to do, ada yang jadi millionaire daripada orang yang kerja makan gaji. In short, resume ni untuk orang makan gaji. Okay, so sama ada kalau dia orang tak ada resume, tak apa, jangan kutuk dia. Dia punya bank account dia lagi besar daripada bank account orang yang bekerja. Okay, resume format. Okay, I'm not here to tell you which format is right, which format is wrong. I'm here to tell you what kind of format there are available. There are one pager. Selalunya student macam adik-adik akan ada one pager CV. I'm new, okay. Ataupun saya pernah ada satu consultant, reservoir engineering consultant, dia punya CV satu page saja. Dia tak nak cakap pasal projek-projek dia ada, okay. And this consultant, he's from the UK. Dia punya gaji bayar by hour, meaning berapa dia datang, pukul berapa dia balik, dia boleh dapat dalam $2,000 satu hari. Okay, that's how expert he is. And dia memang action lah. So you can see dia punya actionnya dalam CV dia, sikit je dia tulis. Sikit je dia tak ada kisah pasal I have 25 years experience in this. Tapi dia tak nak cakap project dia. Because I'm good. Apa nak cakap banyak kan? Okay, and then comes orang normal macam saya, fresh graduate ataupun professional. So tujuan tu pager CV ni ialah untuk saya cari kerja baru. Okay, because I just want to show my CV that I'm excellent, I'm good. Hire me. Itulah tujuan CV. Tapi maksudnya CV ni walaupun kita tak nak tukar kerja pun, it's good to have updated CV. Okay, yang ketiga, seasoned professional. Seasoned professional, I would say from 20 years onwards, 20 years of experience onward. So I'm very, very experienced. Katalah dia kerja dah dalam 20 tahun, 15 pun kira normal professional, mid career, tapi seasoned professional, mid 40s ke sampai habis, sampai retired, very, very experienced. Sometimes kerja dia banyak, dia boleh expand CV jadi 3 pager lah, I'm very experienced. Saya juga pernah nampak CV yang memang page, non-stop, full. Pening pada saya tengok. It's not for me to watch, it's not for me to read. It's usually for academician and researcher. Okay, people yang ada PhD. Kenapa benda ni penting? Sebab pada dia, when they want to go from one level to another level, dia kena buktikan what kind of teaching. Siapa dia punya, apa dia punya publication, siapa dia punya student, apa dia punya leader, activities that prove that they are leaders. Because in academician, researchers, dia lain sikit daripada normal profession. Jadi depan ni kita akan tunjuk.
Kak Ros.
Ya?
I had a question. So macam my mom is a lecturer. So her CV berpage banyak lah. Macam 25 page ke atas kan. So contohnya macam when a lecturer ataupun an academician wants to enter corporate, do they have to change their CV to become like 2 pages, 3 pages? Ke having 25 page pun akan nampak diorang macam, you know, a good quality ke tak?
Selalunya yang saya tahu academician, researchers, lecturers, they will stay in their profession until they retire. Maksudnya dia tak akan, selalunya dia tak akan tinggalkan and join the professional field. Usually they will stay. Selalunya orang profesional macam engineer, dia akan ambil academician as part of their advisor. Itu yang saya tahu. Tapi kalau dia rasa dia nak move to, when you come to 25 pages or CV or more, meaning you have already seasoned academician or seasoned researcher. Okay, so kalau nak pindah ke normal job yang biasa, pada pendapat saya mungkin dia boleh stick to that or have, usually they have 2 version. Saya tengok researcher dia ada 2 version anyway, they have a compressed version and also they have a full version. Okay, alright. Pada saya, kalau dia nak masuk, just give the 25 pages because it's understood that they are researcher. Okay, ini adalah contoh typical CV format. Saya kena ambil kalau CV format yang paling simple sekali. Okay, so this is non-exhaustive list. Maksudnya mungkin ada lebih banyak ataupun mungkin lebih kurang. Okay. Okay, so on the top of the page would be your biodata section, your first name, your last name. Boleh nampak Miman? Saya punya screen gambar-gambar ni cover.
Boleh nampak? Boleh?
Boleh, okay. Alright, so ada address, contact details, some people put social media, so dia berani, dan juga ada letak foto. And then bahagian ni usually orang letak di as part of a header. Okay, biodata. On the first page, sometimes they use it as a header. On the second page onwards, this biodata, a simplified biodata, contohnya nama dan nombor telefon sahaja dia akan letak sebagai footer. Dekat list bawah tu, sometimes people can do that, okay? Footer. So, pasal social media, pada pendapat saya, Facebook tak payahlah letak because Facebook is personal. Kalau nak letak Twitter or blog, be careful what you put because sometimes if you see professional, okay, and then saya tengok dia contohnya dia energy consultant. Lepas tu dia tunjuk kat situ, this is my Twitter. So bila check dia punya Twitter semua pasal energy. macam saya pun fikir, dia ni ada live ke tak ada live ni. So saya tengok saya punya Twitter semua pakai joke-joke yang tak apa-apa. Jadi in that case, I don't put my Twitter there. I don't put my blog. Okay, but people who are very serious about their work, they have their Twitter tweet about work, then they can put. Okay, picture. It depends on your confidence level. Macam saya dulu letak gambar saya, tapi bila dah semakin tua ni, saya rasa macam tak comfortable nak letak. So up to you. Saya dulu letak, jadi sekarang saya punya CV, current CV saya tak letak. Gambar pun ada bermacam-macam jenis, tak ada yang betul, ada yang letak formal. Saya letak gambar yang macam plain background, tak berapa formal dan tak berapa informal, so you can do like this, you can do like this, you know, bergantung. Ada juga yang gambarnya buat macam ni, ataupun macam ni, suka hatilah. Okay, jadi I have no say. Because it depends actually on the content of your CV. To be fair, no one gonna say, walaupun dia ada PhD from Cambridge, tapi gambar dia, gambar pakai spek mata hitam, tak nak lah. Nobody gonna say that. Okay, so it's not that important. But kalau boleh, letaklah gambar yang, saya rasa sekarang orang dah go towards slightly informal. So you can show picture of yourself wearing something smart casual. And then doesn't have to be plain background and everything. Okay. Okay. Apa lagi saya nak cakap? Alright. So after that, modern CV sometimes saya tengok ada keywords. Apa maksud keywords? Contohnya dia letak hashtag dekat bawah nama dia. Technocrat, advocate for change, thinker. Apa benda lah semua benda tu. Saya pun tak faham kenapa. Like I said, it is a trend that keep on changing. So if you want to be with it, you have to catch up. Okay, some people ada macam, you know, this kind of public figure. Walaupun dia tak berapa famous pun, but when you put there, then you become famous lah, right? So you think about keywords if you want to put. Advocate for change, environmentalist. Yang paling best sekali, technocrat. Padahal itu kawan sekolah saya. Dia engineer biasa je tapi dia claim to be technocrat. So lantak dia lah. It's your own success, right? You want to chart your own success, you do that. Pada saya, selain pada keyword yang paling penting sekali not objektif, personal statement ataupun summary. Okay, saya lamsamkan ni sebagai satu benda. Some people put objective, some people put professional summary. Ini adalah perkara pertama yang saya tengok. Bila saya tengok CV, saya baca dia dulu. What is it about the person? Is it worth looking down? Is it worth looking at education? Ataupun tak nak. Kalau the first summary ataupun statementnya merepek, salah, tak best, ataupun berbelit, tak payahlah, skip, next kan. So saya ada 20 second je per CV. Kalau student, saya cadangkan put education first. Okay, kalau orang dah kerja lama, dia akan put work experience first, education later. Because work experience yang paling recent, education pun kena letak yang paling recent kepada yang paling lama sekali, yang paling awal. Untuk adik-adik, mungkin boleh letak SPM saja dan juga PMR. Kalau ada PMR, kalau tak ada SPM saja pun cukup. Keep it simple. Kalau degree, dia akan cakap degree pada universiti mana, kalau boleh, it's okay to brag about your GPA, award and honours. Okay, so you have to mention your GPA, awards and honours and everything, okay? Alright, so work experience. Pada orang yang tak ada work experience, tak payahlah letak. Nanti kita tengok example, why is this a bad idea. Okay, selalunya lepas work experience, people akan letak skills. Kalau engineer macam saya, example, kita dah tak cakap pasal Word and Excel, kita cakap pasal simulation, well flow, well engineering, this engineering, production engineering, that engineering. Okay, depends on you punya kerja lah. So this is specific to the work. Kalau untuk adik-adik, skills. Kalau if you want to put your skills, maybe you can put what do kids do nowadays? Maybe Python, saya pun tak tahu. Web web building skills, blogging, video making, these are all skills. Okay, and lepas after skills tu, pada saya skill ni agak penting. After skill usually akan ada satu filler ataupun buffer. Kalau tak cukup panjang, bahagian ni lah yang boleh memenuhkan CV kita. Contohnya, kita boleh letak certification, award yang kita menang, apa activities kita buat, dan kalau tak ada menang award apa-apa pun tak apa. Apakah aktiviti volunteer kita, volunteering experience. Dan kalau orang yang engineer dah kerja ataupun researcher, this is the time they put dia publication. Kalau dia write technical paper. Usually untuk adik-adik mungkin penting untuk letak reference. So reference boleh letak at least 2, jangan 1 je. Reference, academic reference lah sekarang kan, baru habis SPM. Kalau orang yang baru keluar universiti, fresh graduate, dia akan letak dua-dua university lecturer. Kalau orang yang dah kerja, saya rasa dalam 3 tahun, baru lagi kerja, fresh graduate, young professional, we call them young professional. So usually one can be academic reference and one be kerja punya reference. Dan reference ni janganlah kita ambil kawan sebelah kita dekat kubikel kita. Mat, kau jadi reference aku tak? So tak boleh. Dia kena boss level. Sebab kita bagi reference ni, orang tu kena tengok, head of department. Boleh lah. Walaupun head of department tu tak kenal pun kita. Tapi tanya dulu head of department. Ataupun tanya dulu pengetua ataupun counselor. Boleh tak jadi reference? Chances are, macam lecturer saya tak ingat pun saya. Mungkin sebab saya not a best student. Apa pun, best student pun dia tak ingat sebab dia pun dah tua. Jadi dia akan cakap, oh okay, I will pull out your record. Dia tengok record, okay. So dia tanya, macam ni record. Then they just write lah, it's a template for them. So that's reference. And then finally layout. Usually portrait, tengok kebanyakan CV saya tengok portrait. Ada juga hari ni saya tengok landscape, macam mana boleh ada landscape tu. Itulah orang kan macam-macam. Tapi tak apa, usually it's a portrait, okay? Don't try and do cloud shape, cloud shape ke, bunga-bunga shape ke, just A4 portrait. Jangan jadi kreatif sangat pula. Okay, let's see some example.
Kak Ros, before that, macam waktu saya nak apply kerja, saya apply sekali dengan kawan-kawan lah kan. Lepas tu kawan ada tanya juga macam pasal can we put macam like keluarga ataupun saudara kita sebagai reference, especially in terms of diorang pun kerja dalam industri ataupun kerja yang bahagian kita nak masuk.
Okay, that is called character reference. Character reference ni, it sounds like what you mentioned is something like a character reference. Usually I don't put that in the CV. Character reference mungkin orang tu minta outside of your CV, dia minta ada tak somebody who can bagi reference about your character, okay? And people who do character reference is people who knows you. For example, kita punya auntie ke, but professional lah. Auntie ke, atau kita punya bukan mak bapak sendiri, tapi people who work for us, jiran for example, sebab kita nak tahu pelik tak orang ni. Because sometimes ada juga kita tengok, CV bukan main best, tapi bila datang interview macam pelik, something wrong, something tak betul sikit dengan orang tu. Jadi kita minta character reference, dan character reference kita cakap, kenapa orang ni macam blank stare je, dia pergi interview dia tengok blank stare je. Ada tau, ada terjadi. So itu I think what you mean is a character reference. Maksudnya dia tak boleh bagi reference tentang kita punya ability, technical ability, teamwork dan sebagainya, tapi dia boleh bagi kita reference tentang how are we socially. Okay? Alright, saya nak
One more question. Okay. Tadi Kak Ros center about social media kan. So ada possibility ke macam usually like saya sembang kawan-kawan saya macam even though kita orang tak letak pun social media kita, but because what we say online can give a very bad representation ataupun on ourselves lah. So kiranya macam would you say banyak organizations would go and research into each like the applicants punya social media to see their activity ke? Tak.
Okay, kalau you don't put your social media in the CV, but then your potential employee akan check anyway and then see apa Iman ni cakap entah apa-apa, but it's unfair representation because you tak tunjuk pun, siapa suruh you tunjuk your social media, right? In that case, you can either make them private, ataupun if you don't put your social media there, they have no right to judge you based on the social media. That's what I said lah. That's my interpretation. Tapi kalau if you want to put your social media in your CV, then your social media have to be really curated for the job. Macam saya cakap tu, ada orang is an energy consultant, jadi dia punya tweet semua pasal energy. Siang malam tweet pasal energy je. Okay kan? Faham kan? So maksudnya, if your social media is for memang purely for suka-suka, dan you tak nak orang tahu, don't put in your CV, dan kalau boleh, don't put it like proper iman.nabiha@Twitter, for example. Make a funny name so that people tak boleh jumpa you secara senang. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So sebelum saya mulakan ni, saya nak stop share dulu. Saya nak cakap dalam program SPPKG program nanti kita akan cover, kita tak cover sangat pasal resume because the consensus is resume mungkin dah a bit outdated, tapi we'll see. Kalau nak mungkin kita boleh cover lagi pasal resume, tapi we will cover more about resume. Saya akan cuba cari satu YouTuber professional, salah satu alumni typing juga. Dia insyaAllah akan cover how to make professional looking video. Kalau adik-adik tahu, last year kita minta senior-senior adik-adik semua, SPKG, kita nak semua orang hantar dia punya resume, 1 minute resume. Tapi masalahnya ada jugalah masalah dia yang music terlalu kuat. My name is Anna, dah dia punya background music terlalu kuat, ataupun it's just a bit negative. Makeup terlalu tebal, benda-benda macam ni yang macam boleh mengacau CV tu. Jadi insyaAllah this year kita akan cuba minta pertolongan professional YouTuber. How do you make a professional looking video? Dan kita juga ada perisian daripada professional image consultant Encik Asnawi tentang macam mana you want to dress for success. Okay. Okay, sekejap saya nak share screen. Okay. Share. Oopsie. Stop share. Okay, boleh nampak screen saya ke sekarang?
I see your folder.
Masih boleh. Okay. Pertama saya nak tunjukkan di CV. The CV is pretty impressive. Okay, CV yang saya tutup mukanya dan nama sebab saya tak dapatkan permission. Okay, saya tengok CV ni ya. Simple, dia tak ada apa-apa gambar-gambar. Very simple, 2 pager. Okay, dia ada reference. Reference project manager, sales and technical manager. Okay, so tahulah dia bukan kawan-kawan dia. Apa lagi? I find that this guy, bila saya baca, okay, he's gonna make it. Okay. I aspire to build my career in the oil and gas industry as a graduate engineer. With the knowledge and experience gained during the bachelor degree and master's degree studies. Oh, the master. Okay, I believe I can contribute positively to my employer. Self-driven, organized, detail-oriented, analyze problem analytically, critically, creatively, strategize and plan my work, adapt to situations, changes. I'm a team player capable of working in diversity, keen in learning, exchanging ideas, knowledge sharing. So this is considered for me, this is impressive. Gambar pun betul, okay. Ada master, 3.5, Dean's List. So tengok terus, dia highlight dia punya research project. And then degree, highlight, gold medal. key achievement. Okay, and then dia punya kerja dia. Kerja dia pun walaupun baru kerja. Okay, yang ni waktu ni dia baru 9 bulan waktu saya tengok ni, dia baru setahun. Belum setahun lagi. Tapi acted as a first point of contact. Okay, and key contribution. Yang ni like I said tadi, creative wording, right? Assisted. Okay, then benda-benda lagi. Key contribution. Apa ni? Plug and perforation project. Successful. Okay. Successful. Creative wording. Achievement. Oh, dia co-author. Okay. For me, dia highlight project dia. Dia highlight dia punya skills. Okay. And dia highlight dia punya courses. 3-month training program. I design and ran analysis for US demographic using R programming language. Sama ada benda ni berjaya ke tak berjaya, doesn't matter. For me, this is impressive. Okay. And then dia punya volunteer work, tutor. Kitchen helper. Oh, kitchen helper. Tapi cook meal to serve more than 100 students for Hari Raya celebration in Edinburgh. So, impressive. No need to say much. This is good. He made it. Okay, lagi satu. Okay. Tak ada ternampak tadi nama dia kan? Tapi tak apa. Sama juga. Dia ada dia punya objektif ataupun summary, which is very good. Yang ni yang pentingnya, dia punya CGPA tinggi. Highlight apa recipient, apa lagi, dan boleh tengoklah dia punya apa tu, dia punya conference paper. So you have to highlight what you did well. Additional skills and reference. Tengok reference dia, academic reference and research leader supervisor. Dua-dua academic. One is program leader, one is deputy dean of research. Okay, so good. He made it too. Okay, yang ini saya nak tunjuk 3 pages CV. Everyone ada lagi kan? Senyap je.
Ada.
Okay. Alright, ni saya tak tutup nama sebab saya dah minta kebenaran suami saya. Okay, yang saya cakap keywords tadi, right? Tadi saya cakap apa, technocrat lah, advocate for change, thinker and everything. So ini dia pun terikut-ikut. Which is okay, he's the 44 years old. So this is his keywords, policy advocate, research, industry analysis and insight, animation, game, VSS, new media, blah blah, saya pun tak faham. Only people who are in the business can understand, okay? And then ni dia punya summary. Summary, usually people who work 20 years experience. So you kena cakap lah berapa tahun experience you kerja in blah 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 blah. Including blah blah, including animation. Okay, so this is not so good. I would say this is okay. Okay, yang budak tadi tu lagi terikut dia punya summary. Okay. Maaflah husband saya. Okay, so for me this is worthy. I kering mulut nak membacanya. Okay, but maybe something to improve. Okay, sebab dia kerja lama, dia start as a professional first, and then bila dah habis pasal profession, baru dia punya education dia letak situ pula. Okay, sebab ada satu je education. Kalau adik-adik mungkin education letak sebelum. Sebab that's your main thing, right? You tak kerja lagi. And then letak, like I said, the buffer is publication. What's a publication? Certification dan sebagainya. Dia 3 pages sebab ada banyak benda nak cakap pasal kerja. Projek itu, major achievement, key roles, lead sana, lead sini, this leading sana, leading sini. Keywords, okay? Leading. Apa lagi? Subject matter expertise roles. Chairman, leading.
Terus, you're on mute. Okay, you're good.
Okay, alright. Where was I tadi? Tadi I was talking about keywords, right? So keywords yang kita nak orang tengok macam ni. Leading, led, assisted in the engagement. Kalau kita tak lead pun, at least we do something, it's assisted. Co-led. Ni pun, sorry, kejap. Okay, sorry. Okay, collect. Kalau kita tak lead pun, we are the co-leading. Majid, Achievement and Kiros, lead, chairman lagi, lead lagi, plate subject matter expertise. So these are word then could help you
Kak,
to highlight.
we have a question from Bari. Salam nak tanya, does personal projects or businesses help in a resume? Macam, I think businesses refers to macam Shopee ke ataupun dia sell apa-apa kat through WhatsApp, stuff like that lah.
Student ke?
I think yes, because he's a student, yes.
Okay. If you can make something, you can craft something to make it impressive, yes. Contohnya, macam ni lah. Contohnya macam you cakap apa, Shopee di project Shopee. So apa impact project tu? It's not important apa dia buat, but what is there a positive impact from that project? Is there something that could highlight something positive about him? Maybe he volunteer, maybe he helped underprivileged by doing the project. How much did he get by doing that project in terms of monetary value? Does he self-learn something? Sometimes you self-taught. Sometimes you're doing video, right? So you self-taught a certain software, Filmora, for example. Self-taught video editing using Filmora to produce video about rumah orang tua, for example. But it's like, okay, so you self-taught yourself and you help in terms of charity. Okay, does that answer the question?
I think so, and I think I can add in terms of like contohnya when it comes to businesses, it helps when you can say how many sales you made, how many like customers you were able to approach successfully to become memang customers that bring in money lah.
Okay, saya tengok ni. Alright, okay. So
Kalau maaf ada soalan.
Okay.
Resume tu kan, kalau kita letak reference tu daripada pelanggan, salah satu pelanggan kita, pelanggan yang dah lama dengan kita, kita katalah macam mana, boleh tak kau bagi komen pasal servis kita? Servis tu boleh membantu tak? Komen dia tu.
Dia resume ni untuk apa? Untuk cari kerja ke? Untuk bisnes ke? Macam mana? You have to, like I said in the beginning, you have to custom made according to who's going to read your resume. Kalau katalah you nak cari kerja sebagai engineer and then your reference is your pelanggan that you're selling your home cooked cake, then it doesn't help. No. Is that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, alright. Okay, continue. Sekarang saya nak tunjuk lagi satu CV. Okay, this is what I mean by 25 page and above. This is researcher / academician. Professor, baru dapat professorship saya rasa. Profesor T.S. Dr. Suraya Abdul Rashid. Okay, saya rasa anak dia pun ada di MRSM Taiping sekarang, Form 4. Jadi Profesor Suraya, she's in my batchmate dulu, and dia dulu memang one of the top student. Okay, so this is what it look like, CV for academician, but usually sama saja. Dia akan start dengan biodata dia sendiri. In this case, she start with education, and then some other roles. Macam this is equivalent to experience lah. Dia experience macam tadi kan, cuma experience dia the list saja. Jadi kita tengok dari teaching experience, recognition and award, academic duties, dan ni akan supervisor akan go on.
Dia tak display, the PDF tak display.
Oh, tak nampak ke?
Tak, I can see your folder.
Oh, hang on. Why is that so? Kejap ya. Saya okay. Ini nampak?
Yes, nampak.
Okay, alright, okay. So Profesor Suraya ni batchmate saya, dia memang very clever student from before. So this is 47 pages of CV. It start with biodata, start with education, and then follow on with work experience. But because you're doing research and teaching, you have other things, list of teaching experience, list of recognition and award, academic duties, sometimes ada speaking engagement, PhD degree, a PhD student, the student that you supervise, dan macam-macam lagi. Publication juga pun ada. Okay, this is publication. Ini people who like Iman mungkin familiar, because your mom is a lecturer, right? So proceeding, anything that you go ataupun present or not present, this is. But don't get jealous. Usually people they get jealous because alamak, if you might be 20 years engineer tapi you punya CV. Why? Okay. Mom muted.
No, you're fine. You're fine now.
Okay. All right. Okay. So don't be jealous because everyone has a different role. Okay, everyone has a different role. If you're academician, maybe you should think of something like this. If you're engineer, don't have something like this. Your boss will kill you. Right? It's different. Okay, lagi satu. Maybe we can look into one more. One more CV. Share screen. Okay. Ini Dr. Zul. Dia pun SPKG director untuk the last from 2018-2019. So he's an associate professor, Dr. Muhammad Zulkairi Muhammad Rani. Sama juga ada academic qualification dia. And doctor a little bit different because doctor when they do, doktor ni memang dia tak habis-habis belajar. Dia after degree, dalam degree 5 tahun. Lepas tu dia ada specialty. Lepas tu ada doktor juga yang buat subspecialty lagi. So jadi life as a doctor, you continue learning and learning and learning and learning. Sambil kerja sambil belajar, sambil kerja sambil belajar. Jadi macam itulah. Ini one of the very, not all doctors are the same. Dr. Zul, saya rasa dia rajin. Ada juga saya tengok doktor yang doesn't even bother with the CV sebab doktor ada doktor yang memang takkan hilang kerja. Same work in a hospital. So ini Dr. Zul ada walaupun medical doctor dia pun researcher / teaching profession juga, teaching professional. Okay. Okay, itu sajalah saya nak tunjuk. Okay.
Okay. So we have a few questions. All right, so I'll read them out. Okay, so first is from Adriana Fatihah. Adakah desain CV yang menarik akan memberi tarikan kepada bakal majikan selain dari isi kandungan?
Okay, all right. Which comes to my. Thank you for the question. I just want to share a little bit. Going back to my slide. Okay, saya baru nak come to the next section. It's called infographic resume. Okay, infographic resume macam ni kan, design. Saya ada juga nampak yang very modern resume, very colourful. So saya tengok infographic resume ni usually for graphic and design, art, fashion, marketing. But use with caution because infographic resume are not for everyone. So if you're engineer, if you're a doctor, kalau boleh stay away from it. Kalau saya hantar CV macam ni dekat company, isi dia ada heart attack kot. Saya rasa tengok apa ni. So engineers doesn't like color. For some reason they don't like color. They don't like design. Their mind are like into black and white, numbers. Kalau dia nak ada dollar sign, tapi dia nak facts saja. Tapi benda-benda yang macam, for example, interest, drawing, movie, travelling. Apa ni? Mesti marah kan. So for me, design, if it doesn't help with understanding your CV, sadly don't put it. You can put, not to say cannot, but when you have a CV that you send to prospective employer, make sure they concise. Kalau nanti later for fun we want to have our online CV like this, then go ahead. Because ada juga orang in their serious CV dia akan letak this is my online CV. And the online CV, I think why not? You can have your fun CV. Okay, next question ada?
Ada from Rabiatul. So Rabiato says, I've heard things about the importance of having work experiences in applying for a job, and some places prioritize people with experience. As a fresh grad student, does having part-time jobs count as work experience?
We'll see an example after this. We're going to have some fun looking at the example after this. In short, the answer is it's a chicken and egg situation, which is sama juga bila saya fresh graduate. Waktu mula-mula in the year 2000, I graduated in July. Dalam bulan 11, saya dah mula cari-cari kerja. Lepas 2-3 bulan relax-relax, lepas tu saya tengok dia nak work experience. How can you have work experience if I don't have experience? So you're looking for fresh graduate, at the same time you wanna work experience. Dan saya bukanlah orang jenis rajin yang nak kerja-kerja dekat supermarket ni semua, malas, takut, tak reti, nak pergi sendiri driving pun tak reti. Jadi pada saya, rather than if you have some related working experience, tutor for example, let's say you're applying for a job as an engineer, so you have a tutor experience, that is useful. Let's say you are working, you want to work for a fashion designer, famous fashion designer, and your current work experience is internship dekat kedai baju, that is related. Okay, so that you can put. Tapi kalau benda yang tak related, baik tak letak, because even if you put, it's not going to help. Okay, then kita akan continue on that point later. So that's resume done. Okay, so let's have some fun. Okay, so ini antara CV yang saya dapat daripada hiring of intern and also engineer. Ni daripada, tak tahu daripada mana, supposedly daripada France. Okay, and siapa boleh highlight apa yang rasanya is the resume scene? Apa yang salah resume ni? Ada siapa-siapa nak volunteer? Dah, saya tunggu 5 saat. Okay, kalau pelajar typing ni kena rajin sikit ya. Kena rajin speak up sikit. It's one of the kalau kita nak new engineer kena rajin speak up. Tapi tak apa. Okay. Resume say number 1, language. So maybe you are from France, but you're applying for a job in Malaysia. You are in Malaysia. You're studying in Malaysia. Waktu tu dia ada kat Malaysia. Submit your resume in English. And then resume say number 2, picture. Okay, picture like I said, sometimes you can get away with having informal. Tapi tengoklah gambar ni. Number 1 is squash. Number 2 ada flash from photographer that you can see from the mirror dekat belakang dia. Okay, that's not so good. Resume say number 3, empty space. Kalau tengok dekat tepi-tepi ni, kiri kanan, ada kosong-kosong. These are called waste of valuable real estate. Okay, kita nak macam saya tunjukkan tadi, resume ada seorang young professional tadi, very padat kan, left and right, ada banyak benda nak cakap. Number 4, format. Okay, usually format you start with your biodata, and then you start with your experience ataupun education. Yang ni dia start competency domain, right? Domain the competencies. Whoa, completion diopit. I think this is called well completion. Maintenant dia toil di total. Sekarang dia kerja dengan total, saya rasa lah, kan? Magazine RSMS ni lagi satu resume saya number 5. When you put abbreviation, jangan ingat semua orang tahu apa bendanya. What does it mean? Kartel, alukam, solateral. Okay, dalam format tu salah. Okay, tak apa, saya tak nak berdosa mengata dia, but it's a don't example. Okay, the title of this talk today, do and don't, this is a don't. Next. Okay. One of the CV, language, Malay, English, Arabic. Lepas tu dia ada bar chart dekat situ. So saya rasa purple chart is 100%. Yang blue tu dia punya kompetensi dia. So berapa persen tu saya pun tak tahu. Itu 85% ke 90% pun saya pun malah nak ambil pembaris, nak measure. Arabic dia kurang sikit. What does it mean? So is this the right way to write how is your competency to language? Don't think so. Look at Google. I Google in 1 minute, in few seconds I got back. In a CV, levels of language proficiency. You can say I'm not proficient, in which case jangan letak lah. Elementary proficiency, limited working proficiency, professional working, full professional proficiency or native. Okay, so kalau sekarang kita nak, of course you have by default Malaysia, you have English and Malay proficiency, and also if you're Chinese or Indian, you have your native language. You can put that. Okay, just use this word and not skills. Okay, next, professional skill. Okay, dia letak Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel 60%, PowerPoint 80%, Katia, I don't know what's that, 70%. Saya pun fikir, ada exam ke yang dia dapat 60%, 80% PowerPoint exam ke ni? Ke this is dibagi markah sendiri. Katalah saya ada lagi satu candidate, dia letak situ Microsoft Excel 65%, dan dia dah kalah kan? So jadi it's not useful. For me, this is not useful. If you want to say you are good in something, just say you're proficient in the use of Microsoft Excel or Office. Okay, jangan letak. It's pointless. Alright, next. Ini saya cakap pasal experience. Okay, this person, he is applying for an intern job. Understandable, dia tak ada work experience. Jadi ni experience dia ada. Daily part-time worker, customer service, rider. Adakah kerja ini berkaitan dengan petroleum engineering? Tidak. Jawapannya tidak. Rider. Bukanlah kita nak look down on him for being a rider. It's not. But cuba tengok apa dia cakap. Experience in deliver pizza. Sorry. Okay, buat tak nampak Experience in deliver pizza to customer with the good and manners when communicate with them. Also help the company in gain profit day by day by promote their product to the people in Cyberjaya using paper or by advertise in social media. It's just wrong. The wording is just wrong. Okay, in fact, ada tak cadangan macam mana nak betulkan ni? If you are this person, okay? Macam mana saya nak betulkan? You don't have to list this experience, your part-time worker, your customer service or rider. In fact, you summarize it somewhere that you are trying to gain non-professional work to get extra money, to sambung belajar ke, ataupun untuk bantu parent. So that kind of like positioning is useful. Then you cakap you nak aku sebenarnya jadi rider ni, aku sebenarnya jadi customer service ni. Okay, kalau nak letak pun please put your English in the right way. This is quite bad. Okay, yeah.
We have Abang Faizi dalam Zoom right now. And he asked if he can share a bit about the things that we read in CVs and what we do when you are called for an interview. Would you like him to like jump in while you are doing it right now ke?
I show you, boleh tak saya show one more example. Satu je kan?
Yep.
Share one more example because this is fun. For me, I find it fun. Kejap ya, Abang Fizi. Kejap ya. Alright. Saya rasa berdosa pula kutuk-kutuk, tapi tak apa. Alright, ni lagi satu. Resume scene. Okay, reference kan. Kita cakap, boleh tak kita bagi customer? Ni contoh, dia bagi 2 reference. Satu sister, satu mother dia. Okay, not good. Number 2, spelling, position, it's small but I can see it. Number 3, what is that? Okay, it's so big, I can literally letak semua rumah satu kampung kat sini pun boleh muat. Because this is a CV for internship, okay? By right, all this can be fit into one page, but this person, her CV is a 6-pager. So this lah yang tak bagusnya. Alright, okay. So sorry, I think Abang Fizi boleh, Faizi boleh jump in. Silakan.
Abang Faizi, you can unmute yourself. Okay.
Hello.
Yep, dengar? Hello?
Hello, boleh dengar?
Okay, yes, boleh.
Mak, saya tak dengar you all. Ya, sorry. Testing.
Yep, dengar?
I cannot hear you. Sorry. Let me try again. Sorry, Tom, how are you?
Ya, kita boleh dengar. Abang Fizi boleh dengar kita orang ke? Iman ada tak? Kalau tak, saya continue dengan dua slide lagi.
Yeah, I
Boleh?
think you can continue dulu kot.
Boleh
Sebab
dengar
ni
tak?
ada lagging dalam internet. Abang
I
Faizi.
see. Okay, sekejap. Abang Fizi boleh message dia to the I continue first.
Yep.
Alright. Okay. So, okay. Ini CV ni daripada satu orang yang sama. Okay. Okay, career objective. Okay, belum apa-apa lagi dah cakap career objective. Saya nak gaji banyak ni. Okay, because I'm passionate to contribute to the industry and enthusiastic to kickstart my career. Tapi saya nak gaji banyak ni. It's a bit negative for me. It's a bit negative. Ada lagi satu, personal skill. Okay, there's a lot of people doing things like this, a bar chart like this. Boleh nampak kan, Iman? My slide.
Boleh nampak?
Okay. Alright. So pada saya macam it's something like this is subjective. You should not quantify it as such. Ada 5 star ke? Is this a star? So katalah ada team player 4. Apa maksudnya 4 tu? Is it sebab dia tak suka orang ke? And creativity dia 3 je. Kenapa 3 bukan semua? Kalau saya, if I have to do this, kalau dia kata, okay, you put your personal skill like this out of 5, kalau tidak, I will kill you. If I have to do this, I put all full. Kenapa pula nak cakap my social ada 4? Adakah sebab saya tak suka cakap orang, saya tak suka orang tu bau busuk ke apa ke? No, you know. So that's why personally I feel benda-benda macam ni, it's a very subjective things. You should not quantify it as such, but things are changing ya, saya tak tahu. Mungkin ada orang suka macam ni. Lagi satu, when you name your CV, this is real thing. CV-1 furryfriend.pdf. Okay, I would say no more. Okay, so finally a CV is for life, right? So you have your CV when you first, daripada sekarang lagi SPM, you have your CV. This is you. SPM nanti lepas keluar daripada MRSM, you want to produce your CV for graduation, for scholarship. And then this is you 20 years later, dah mature, dah ada duit, dah ada jambang semua, dah ada family, but you still have your CV updated, tapi your CV mungkin lebih panjang, lebih elok, lebih sophisticated, okay? So our resume is for life, okay? Having said that, you should have respect for yourself. Do a proper CV. Jangan buat kesalahan-kesalahan yang saya tunjukkan tadi. Okay, so itu saja. Saya rasa Abang Fizi boleh, itu saja daripada saya. Terima kasih. Apa-apa soalan ataupun Abang Faizi boleh continue. Thank you.
I think Abang Faizi just now he exited, lepas tu he masuk balik. So Abang Faizi, maybe you can test your mic.
Okay, my testing now. Is it okay?
Yep, it's okay. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Lovely.
Okay.
Rose, how are you?
Okay, Abang Faizi. Thank you.
Excellent. You're doing a great job. Thank you for the sharing. Sorry to take the stage a little bit.
Tak apa, dah habis dah. Sorry lambat
It's okay, no problem. So basically what I wanted to share is that you mentioned tadi on the last bit that you are having fun looking at some of the CVs, kan? Having fun or in other words, you make
It's
fun
not
of.
fun lah. It's not fun. I have to say when I look at a lot of those CV, nak nangis pun ada, nak gelak pun ada.
Exactly. So
It's not fun.
people like you and me, we have seen a lot of CVs, and I think there are plenty out there that entertain us in a sad way somehow. So I just want to share a little bit on the experiences that we have and what we do with the CVs that we get with the students ataupun siapa-siapa yang mendengar malam ni. I just want to remind a little bit kan tadi. Kak Rose, you all ni ada bagi banyak tips, dia akan ada bagi banyak contoh-contoh CVs dengan apa yang sepatutnya ditulis, apa bahasa-bahasa yang perlu digunakan, and apa konten-konten yang sesuai untuk diletakkan dalam tu. Tadi I read a few questions ataupun comments dekat dalam chat, tapi sekarang ni chat ni dah hilang. But I remember something like ada orang tanya perlu tak letak things like work experience ataupun projek-projek yang pernah buat ataupun benda-benda yang mungkin tak related sangat dengan apa yang you all apply. And I think Rose correctly pointed out just now, if it's not related to what you asked, what you are applying for, maybe it's safer not to put it in. That's point number one. But if you still prefer to highlight ataupun you rasa that benda tu interesting enough and you want to capture the interviewer's attention, then leave it there, but you just make sure that you can respond to it if you get asked. Okay, there are two things that might happen. One is that you may or may not be selected because of the things that you put on your CV. And if you are selected, you may be asked about it. Rose, do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I think you're referring to question by Noor. What if our skill and talent have nothing related to our resume or job application that we're interested? Do we have to state them, kan? So yes, yang saya rasa contohnya kalau we applying for a job as engineer and then kita punya previous experience as a masseuse, for example, memang tak ada kena-mengena. Pada saya kalau walaupun kita better not put it sebab tak related, tapi you can put it in a way, mungkin pada pendapat saya as in your summary, you say previous work experience, mungkin boleh summarize in a way that how to make it positive, that you doing a non-professional job, non-technical job untuk cari duit lebih for family.
Exactly. So that's my point. If you do want to put it in, you make sure that it's interesting enough and it has a point to give you an edge so that you get selected. Mungkinlah kita nak jadi engineer tapi tak ada peluang nak jadi intern dekat engineering company ataupun tak ada peluang nak buat any engineering related jobs. But if you put something like okay, you do it for the family ataupun you do it for the experience, you do it out of passion. You tell them that okay, you have that passion so much that even while waiting for an interview, you spend time doing something worthwhile ataupun you spend your time doing something.
Kalau
It shows-
self taught a certain project pun okey juga, self taught
right, yeah,
programming
exactly.
language ke kan? Boleh kan?
Betul. Kalau macam ambil online courses, you do something yang menunjukkan you punya kesungguhan, you punya minat, that you are the kind of person yang tak duduk diam. Because these are the traits that people are look for, especially in the fresh pool, fresh candidates, tak ada experience, macam mana kita nak pilih? You just imagine, kalau ada tadi macam Kak Ros tadi tunjuk, ada 10 ke 20 ke 50 applicants, how do you make yourself stand out? And how do you make yourself be selected, be that one that gets called for the interview? Okay, so that's one point. The other one is that people like me and my friend Suhaimi, kalau ada yang kenal ke tak kenal ke, tapi he is the fellow WOF. Kalau tengok adalah poster dia dekat dinding dekat maktab tu. Same batch as me. We have the same thought tau. Kalau kadang-kadang kalau kita panggil orang untuk interview kan, sometimes the people that we call in, I do not get the interview. I don't do the screening. Okay, I only see the CV on the day that I interview. So sometimes I don't really know what to ask. Yes, I know what I'm looking for, but I don't know about you, nothing about you. So the first glance of the CV, myself ataupun Suhaimi ataupun maybe most of the interviewers yang ada dekat luar tu, they will quickly glance your CV and then dia akan pick out tau. 1 atau 2 point. Contohnya tadi kalau kata, okay, bekerja sebagai pizza delivery man. So dia akan tanya, can you talk about this? Can you explain a little bit about this? Ataupun kalau katalah ada buat online courses on engineering. Can you explain what you went through and how did you find about this online course and what did you learn from it or things like that. So basically what I want to say here is that whatever that you put on your CV, you have to own it. If you can understand, you have to own and you have to really understand inside and out of the points that you put on the CV. You have to be clear so that when you get asked, you are able to respond and respond well. Not just tolong-tolong saja ataupun buat sambilan-sambilan. No.
So maksudnya,
yeah.
Maksudnya dia macam CV ni macam you punya kedai. If you letak barang kat situ and then orang akan tanya, so you have to be able to sell it.
Yes.
Macam tu.
Yep. So the CV is the iklan. The CV is the iklan, but you are the product. So when people finally get you as the product, they will grill you ataupun they will ask you questions so that you are able to shine more. Ataupun macam produk ni kalau katalah makanan, orang dah beli dah makanan ni, packing nampak cantik ni. Packing cantik, bila buka rasa pun kena sedap. So orang ni, you yourself have to be that. You have to rasa sedap, you have to smell good, you have to look good. So talking about smell, bila masuk tempat interview tu pun kalau pakai minyak wangi sikit pun tak apa. Jangan lebih-lebih, just nice to be pleasant. So that gives you a lot of edge. So untuk orang-orang yang risau tak tahu nak letak apa, tak tahu nak cakap apa, sesuai ke tak sesuai, you can put anything that you want. First of all, it needs to represent you, yourself. Number 2 is that it serves as your iklan. And number 3 is that you know in and out of whatever that you write. So bila orang tanya, mungkin kalau you hantar CV 5 page, orang tanya dalam page nombor 4 ni, point number 3, you sebut pasal benda ni, boleh tak explain sikit? You have to be able to do that. So I guess that's a little bit of my input, so that you when you do that CV, put that in mind be ready to respond when you get asked. Thank you for the platform, and thank you for a little bit of that time that you shared with us. Thank you.
Okay, saya nak tambah sikit, mungkin Wak Fizi boleh tukar tambah juga. Bila after the resume process is in interview process. Okay, dan saya nak adik-adik semua pastikan, okay, interview is a two-way process. You're being interviewed by someone who's also interviewing you. So maksudnya yang takut ni bukan hanya you seorang saja takut, sometimes the interviewer pun takut. Jadi kita kena, it's like a game, siapa lebih confident, because bukan semua orang yang interviewer tu experience. Sometimes ada juga interviewer yang memang tak ada experience, memang haprak memang dalam interviewing. Saya pernah nak share sikit about interview yang saya pernah ada. One of the interviewer, ada dua occasion yang saya rasa negatif. First occasion, the interviewer perempuan, she senior, she doesn't like, maybe bila saya masuk je, dia tengok atas bawah, dan soalannya sangat-sangat sinis. Maksudnya, berapa orang anak you ada? Berapa you balik kerja? Adakah you boleh balik kerja lambat? Pada saya, that's not professional. Okay, so sometimes it's unlucky lah, unlucky life. And secondly, saya pula, okay, my CV is okay, it wasn't great. Okay, kalau kita tengok orang student typing ni semua, kawan-kawan saya semua ada PhD, memang lagi tera-tera lah. Saya hanya ada master saja. Tapi saya kerja dengan oil and gas company yang ada berjenama sikit je. Ada juga saya pergi interview, dan interviewer tu tua sikit daripada saya, dan dia tengok CV ni, dia cakap, ni betul ke semua yang awak tulis ni, ke ada yang tipu-tipu? Okay, that's very very unprofessional. Jadi ini dah bukan dah resume dah disebab interview. So dalam hal-hal ini kita boleh menurut experience ni kan, kita boleh tahu how do you counter that kind of reaction. Dia nak deal dengan orang macam ni. Itu pun ada lagi satu skill juga. How do we say so that kalau dia nak kalahkan kita, kita kalahkan dia balik. How do we go above them? Okay, itu mungkin Cikgu Aisyah punya next session lain. Cikgu Aisyah, next scope untuk cover.
ESPKG lah, ESPKG.
Ataupun ESPKG.
Boleh.
Okay, itu saja kot Iman. Anything else? Ini penutup daripada cikgu ataupun pada student? Pada Abang Faizi?
No, I'm good. I've said my piece. Thank you. Saja je menyibuk malam ni tak ada kerja.
Thank you, Abang Faizi.
All the best, everyone.
Thank you so much, Cik Faizi.
Okay, so we have something from Mir Azad Nu'man. Okay, as a student, I found your talk very beneficial. I managed to screenshot some of the slides. Please allow me to keep it for my use in the future. Thank you, Madam Rosmawati. May Allah ease everything for you. Do we have any questions from the students? You can unmute ataupun you can masuk your questions dalam chat box.
Kalau tak ada question tak apa. Terima kasih semua kerana setia menghadiri talk ni. Apa-apa boleh tanya dengan Cikgu Aisyah. Cikgu Aisyah boleh hubung dengan alumni semua.
Oh, okay. We have one more question from Bari. Boleh ke, Kak Ros? Okay. So time interview, the interviewer has to take everything in face value, right?
Apa maksud dia? So time interview, the interview has to take everything in face value.
Face value means on the surface. Right?
Yes. So everything, let's say you're talking about physical interview ataupun Zoom. Kalau physical interview, lagi lah pula sometimes they check what you're doing while waiting for interview. You know, and then kalau Zoom interview senang aja, you don't have to wait, you don't have to wait dekat lobby, duduk kat sini, boleh pakai baju cantik tapi bawah tak ada apa pun okey juga. So everything is at face value. That's true, that's correct. That's why preparation is very important.
Okay, I don't see any questions, but we do have Abang Taufik and Cikgu Aisyah. So do both of you have anything to say or add?
Thank you, Atom, for good presentation. Love it. Even myself, I learned a lot from there.
All right. So I guess, Cikgu, yes? Oh, okay, all right.
Cikgu nak say thank you je to Kak Ros and Cik Faizi. Cikgu rasa dua-dua ada dua-dua both tu sangat bagus lah kan bila kita tengok balik. So pelajar pun bagi feedback yang bagus. It's okay. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay, so now is 10:30 p.m. So I think we'll end the talk since I didn't start with doa. So I guess maybe we can all go back and read our own doa, I think. So without further ado, Assalamualaikum and have a good night.